How did you get your start?
I actually stole my cousin's job. She was working at the governor's office, and she was going away for the summer, and she needed someone to fill her spot. So she told me about it. I went in, interviewed with her boss, got the job, and then when her internship was over, they basically asked me to stay on and to kind of take the position that she thought she was going to get.
I got my first real job at Majority Strategies when I was a young kid and I didn't know anything.
Like a lot of young people, I joined College Republicans my freshman year in college and got involved and started volunteering for campaigns and been involved ever since.
How can you get involved in local politics?
Other than walking into a campaign office nearby and volunteering, you could go to www.majorityhunter.com. We'll do a 15-minute interview, figure out where you want to go, what you want to do, what's a good fit for you, and we'll get you started.
I would say show up and be helpful. So that could be just volunteering on a campaign, doing an internship. You've got to accept the fact that you're not going to get paid, or you might not get paid much to start. But if you are helpful and show that you're competent, you have the ability to rise very quickly through the ranks. The good thing about political campaigns is they're often strapped for time, money, and talented people. So if you're able to help them out, you're going to get more responsibility very quickly.
Just jump in with both feet. Find a candidate that you like, or a cause, or an issue, and just show up and volunteer. Whether it's knocking on doors or making phone calls or waving signs, whatever it is, just get involved and volunteer, and go from there.
Did you have any internships before you landed your first job?
My cousin's job that I stole was technically an internship. That actually ended up turning into a full-time job whenever I graduated, so it sort of just launched my career.
I think I had internships at like the RNC, on the Hill, at different PR firms, and that really gave me a lot of good experience.
Tips on making and keeping connections.
Collect business cards like baseball cards. Always do follow-up.
Focus on establishing like real connections with people that are based on trust and respect. Don't just try to use somebody to get your resume pushed to the top of the pile. See if there's like a common connection that you can form with that person, and then keep it real.
It's just staying in touch with people, because it's so easy. You meet a lot of people, and then you don't bother to stay in touch with them, and you lose those contacts, especially in our fast-paced society. So biggest thing is just stay in touch with people, whether it's dropping them an email or a text, or making a phone call. Do the rare thing these days, and if there's someone that you really want to stay in touch with, call them on the phone and actually have a conversation with them.
How did you start moving up?
Worked at the governor's office for a little bit, ended up getting involved into a couple campaign, political organizing type roles. Went to DC for a while. I did the whole thing where you move up, don't have a job, you sleep on a couch for a couple of weeks, just going door to door at senators' offices, passing out resumes, and then eventually landed something. Made my way to Majority Strategies, which in turn has led to a job or a career, I guess, running Majority Hunter.
So I worked 2 cycles at Majority to start, which was a great introduction to direct mail and now mobile. And then I worked for a public affairs firm for 5 years, doing all sorts of corporate campaigns, political campaigns, a lot of earned media. And then I found myself back at Majority Strategies, now working on the mobile side of things.
Well, I talked about when I joined College Republicans, I started volunteering on campaigns, and actually I managed my first campaign while I was a sophomore in college. It was a state rep race in a Republican primary, and so at a pretty early age I started with actual campaign work, and stayed involved after that, and a couple years later went to work for the Ohio Republican Party and did state party politics for a long time. That's really where the heart of my political career was, in state party politics. And then after state party, started my own firm where we did public affairs and politics and did grassroots campaigns. I didn't do much candidate work in my business, but we did issue campaigns. And so it all started by just getting involved with college Republicans and going from there.
Is this field what you expected it to be? What surprised you the most about the field?
What surprised me the most was that you could actually have a career in politics, running campaigns, traveling the country, having a job for a couple months and going unemployed. So I had no expectations about this field because I didn't even know this field existed whenever I graduated. It's something that just kind of came at me, bit by bit, and sort of pieced together a career out of it.
So it's important to have a good reputation and to manage that, because people don't go away. You're gonna keep running into them over and over and over. And to be successful, you're gonna wanna have a lot of good relationships and contacts with people.
Oh, there's always surprises, and no matter whatever you do. But yeah, it's, politics, the thing that I love about politics, it's something new every day. Because very rarely is it the same thing day in and day out, and that's the fun of it. The back and forth and the surprises, and you love it when there's things that you plan and they come off the way you planned. But just being able to roll with the punches and just understand that that's the nature of the business just makes it a whole lot of fun to be involved.
What skills did you learn, and what skills came in handy when you first started?
I'm naturally a people person, so that's something that I've kind of was able to use to my benefit, especially starting out when you're out hitting doors, talking with about 200 to 300 different people a day. Some skills I've learned were patience, how to stay organized, and then how to meet deadlines.
Being responsive, speed is always of the essence on campaigns, and so you want to always get back to people right away. If you don't know the answer, don't pretend that you do. Go find out, but acknowledge that somebody is asking you a question, and then get back to them as soon as possible.
Communication and hard work are the two things that in politics. You'll be able to communicate with people, whether that's verbal or written or being able to write a good ad for someone or a speech for them. But hard work, nothing replaces hard work.
What was the toughest lesson you learned?
Never take a job for the money. That's it.
When you make a mistake, you have to own up to it. And that can be really difficult for a lot of people, myself included. But when you are on the wrong side of something, you need to acknowledge that, address it, and move on.
The toughest lesson I've learned is probably when you understand that not everyone in politics is in it for noble reasons, and you can get disappointed by people, by candidates. People that you think are your friends that turn out not to be your friends, but you can't be disillusioned by that, and you have to press forward, because I've also met a lot of great people in politics, and some of my best friends in life are people that I met in politics and still are my friends. And so it's like everything else, that there are bad people involved in it, but there's a whole lot of good people involved for the right reason.
How did you know it was time to move on to the next job?
Because the campaign ended and we lost and I was unemployed, so I had no choice.
That's an interesting question, because I think at the end of the day, it depends on if you get up in the morning and you're not looking forward to going to work, then it's time to move on. If you get bored, or if you don't feel challenged any longer, that's when it's time to move on, and because you become too comfortable. And I think you got to continuously push yourself.
How can an aspiring operative get a leg up on the competition?
Just remember that it's a small industry. People that you see on your first campaign, you'll probably see 5 years from now, and they'll be in a position to help you get a job. So always leave a good impression. Even in stressful situations, just remember that this is something that's going to come back again and again, and could lead to something down the road.
You need to go meet as many people as possible, talk to people. People love to give out advice, and that can be a great way to open up doors to jobs. Going to fundraisers, going to different county party meetings, things like that can really get you more than just trying to apply to jobs online.
Hard work. I'll go back to the same thing. You just got to outwork whoever else your competition is, and there's just no substitute.